Acceptance means that if I have stolen money from someone, I'm not just going to feel bad about it. I'm not just going to ask them to forgive me or tell them how sorry I am. I'm going to pay back that money. That is accepting responsibility. But acceptance is the beginning. Now, from New Life Ministries, this is Going Deeper with Stephen Arterburn. I'm Stephen Arterburn. And Going Deeper is all about taking the tough issues, the hard issues of life, looking a little bit deeper inside so that we can gain some insight into our lives. Hi there. Thank you for joining me for Going Deeper. Steve Arterburn here, and really glad that we're together right now. You know, every Thursday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, I do a little program called Life Recovery Today. Why is it called Life Recovery Today? Because tomorrow never comes. For a person who's struggling, you say, well, tomorrow I'll take care of it. Tomorrow never comes. There's no power in tomorrow. Right now is where it all is. So come join me 11 a.m. Got some great guests that come by. Really enjoy being with them. Right now, we are in a series here on Going Deeper. Usually I am in a series. I'll do one thing here or there, but often it's a series. And we'll also want to mention to you this, that on Labor Day weekend, I'm doing a message at northviewchurch.us. And the title of that message is The Summer of 2020 and how to get through it. And how do we, and I'm talking about getting through and then getting over and getting beyond it. And you could find that at 9 a.m. 5 p.m. on Saturday. And then on Sunday, 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Those are Eastern times at northviewchurch.us. I would love for you to see that. We'll have it on our website also. Well, in this series, yesterday we talked about this thing called surrender. And we just know that surrender is one of the most important things, or maybe the most important thing that we can ever do. When we surrender our life to Christ, we get eternity. But there needs to be an ongoing surrender to God, the other areas of our life, because we take control and we push hard and all this stuff, get ourselves in trouble. And all of that seems to end finally when we finally surrender to God. That's when the peace comes, and we need all the peace that we can get, right? I do. Hope you do. Well, today we're talking about acceptance. There are 7 keys to spiritual renewal or transformation, and today we're talking about acceptance. First was to seek God and surrender to Him. So you could say surrender it. And then acceptance, you could say, is to see it, to see the reality of our situation and accept it. I was taking some of the New Life supporters on a trip. And one of my favorite people was with us, great preacher. And I was having to do devotionals in front of a preacher that I admired for years. And I came to this one devotional one morning on our trip, and I gave this quote. It's a quote from Bill W. out of the Big Book. And I said this. I said, this is the quote that I think of any book I've ever read, of anything that anybody's ever written other than the Bible. I think it's the most powerful quote ever. And here it is. Acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. Immediately you might want to go, now is that really true? Is acceptance really the answer to all my problems today? You know, it really is the answer to all my problems today. Think about it. I want to accept other people. I want to accept responsibility. I want to accept Christ. I want to accept what God has planned for me. I mean, I've been through this. There's just no way to get around it. Acceptance literally is the answer to all of your problems today and my problems today. Now, one of the great things that I ran across was this. This is the book that started it all. And what it is the original, it's a copy of the original manuscript by Bill W. And so they reproduced it, and I believe Hazelden is the one that published it. Hazelden is kind of the clearinghouse of all things that have to do with recovery in alcoholism. And one of the people on their board, it's now Hazelden Betty Ford, one of their people, I think his name, Cope Morris, he's on the board, and he read, he was in treatment, and he had been in treatment several times, and he asked for a Life Recovery Bible. And after all these treatments, it was the thing that made the difference for him. And so it's part of the Hazelden stuff, their literature that they have in their catalog, which is a great honor. But they also have this. And I was so fascinated to look at it. And here's the whole point of this. If you look at this manuscript, everywhere the word you was, it's crossed out at the direction of his wife Lois, and the word we is written over it. So it's all done on a typewriter, and then the corrections made in pencil. So wherever's going to be you, it's turned to we. Now just think about that. So here he was thinking, as someone might, you need to do this. But she said, you know, Bill, I don't think that's the kind of attitude that we want to express in whatever's being written out of here. Aren't we all in this together? And so I want to say to you, I think that's profound, that we all need to be in the process of accepting our reality. Now, what do we do versus accept? We judge. We judge people. I'm not saying that we shouldn't know the difference between somebody doing right and wrong. We don't. By accepting them, we're not endorsing everything. If you have stolen $1 million, I'm not going to endorse that, but I'm not going to reject you as a human being. In fact, I'm probably going to think, if I knew how to rob banks really well like you do, or whatever, however you got, I'd probably fallen right into it too. See, that is accepting another person rather than judging them. And here's an amazing thing. My level of acceptance in this world, people, reality, whatever, my level of acceptance determines the level of satisfaction that I experience. I mean, just think about it. If I can't accept this is my lot in life, if I can't accept the fact that I blew a bunch of money or opportunity or whatever early in life, I am miserable. But when I grieve that loss and I come to this place of acceptance, then I can experience a little bit of peace because I can find satisfaction and rest for my soul. Now, what is this acceptance thing? I think it's contentment, certainly. It's a level of peace and contentment. But also acceptance is this process of literally accepting responsibility to do whatever it takes to improve my life, to be a responsible person. Acceptance means that if I have stolen money from someone, I'm not just going to feel bad about it. I'm not just going to ask them to forgive me or tell them how sorry I am. I'm going to pay back that money. That is accepting responsibility. But acceptance is the beginning. Now, here's another thing of acceptance. If I accept you, not only do I not spend all my time judging you, criticizing you, also, I don't spend time trying to change you. Won't work. But here's what I do. I help you. I encourage you. And here's the verse, Ephesians 4:2, bear one another's burdens in love. So that's a great thing to do. If we're working together, bearing each other's burdens, what a great thing. Now, let's say you just heard me say all that and you think that applies to married couples. Well, if you're dating, if you're single, it applies to you too. Now you might be thinking, yeah, I'm single, and I sure wish there were some great men out there for me to be dating. You know what I found? There are some great men out there to date. Yes, they are. They're there. They don't look like the stars in movies. They look more like the character actors on the side. They may not have a lot of money. They may not have a career that is just something you always wanted to be a part of. But they're real people. They're America, you could say. And they know how to love somebody. Our son Carter has just graduated, and he is into a career where he will go into a museum and take maybe 1,000, 1,200 pictures of a sculpture. And he's part of a project out of Rome that they're creating all of these virtual museums. And so he's traveling all over the world. He just got back from doing this in Connecticut, but before that he was in Berlin, and before that he was in Rome. And so he moved out of the house and he moved to a camp and a campground where people have trailers and stuff, but not the kind where you come in and out. I mean, people, it's kind of like the permanent place. They may work during the week, but they come there. And, you know, these are small trailers, and he's there and he's so content. Why? Because there's nobody there that grew up like him. He says these are real people, and every night that they're there, they're asking him to come over and share dinner with him, and he is having the time of his life. Very few material possessions. He has found the acceptance that's needed to be at peace at whatever level you're at. Boy, that's what I would want for you. And in order to have acceptance of another person, you've really got to be willing to accept that I'm not going to be wealthy, or that that's not going to be my goal, is just some financial level or looks or whatever. But I think if you have a standard and you're willing to take a second look at some stuff, I think you might find that person. Now, you're never going to find that person if you're critical, if you have a critical spirit, you could say. You're never going to be happy with the person you're with, whether married or not, if you are involved in these big C's. Changing, trying to change the person, trying to cure the person, or control, or you're always comparing them to other people. Those are the big C's, the dead C's of any relationship. And all of them are the opposite of acceptance. Now, let's say you're a man. I think that men have some problems with accepting themselves. First of all, you compare yourself to everybody and you don't know if you can, if you're a real man. Am I a man, you wonder? Or am I competent? You know, am I a competent guy? Can I accept, my level of whatever I do and consider myself competent? Am I worth more than just the money that I make? And then as we get older, it's, am I worth more than I've accomplished? And then, can I live with the limitations that come upon me with age? Every stage, and a woman has similar stages too, but I'm a man, so I'm talking about men. So every stage of our life, we have to come to this place where more and more acceptance of the reality of our lives. So I would just like you to realize that if I could accept everything and everyone, not endorse, not enable, but accept. If I could accept them, I could find a place of gratitude. I would lower the pressure in my life, lower my anxiety, and live according to Philippians 4:6. Don't be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. So I want to be gracious. I want to have gratitude. I want to let God handle the stuff that I can't handle, never had any business handle, and accepting that that's the way life gets better. So that's the second key. Ask yourself, am I living with acceptance or not? I hope you will. If you need some help, you call us 1-800-NEW-LIFE. See you tomorrow. Thank you for joining me for Going Deeper. I hope something I've said may have helped just a little bit. If you have a question you'd like me to answer or comment, just email me at stevesocial@newlife.com. I'll see you next time.
If you want to support Going Deeper with Stephen Arterburn, be sure to subscribe so you never miss another episode. And if you know someone who would benefit from this episode, be sure to share it with them. See you on the next Going Deeper with Stephen Arterburn from New Life Ministries.